Throughout history, many people have had hopes and aspirations of conquering the world. There are 48 laws that guide those who wish to do so. Out of all 48 laws, Law 14 is the most sensible one. Those that offend work as a spy. This law is about the power of information. Not just any information, but the truths that people keep to themselves. And getting this information isn't easy. Leaders throughout history have used Law 14 for their political, social, and economic gain to become more powerful. One of these leaders is Marcus Junius Brutus. Brutus was born in 85 BCE and was a descendant of Lucius Junius Brutus, who founded the Roman Republic in 509 BCE by overthrowing King Tarquin. Lucius had the people of Rome swear an oath to never again allow another man to be king of Rome. Several years later, the first triumvirate formed, which was comprised of Gaius Julius Caesar, Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, and Marcus Licinius Crassus. Eventually, they began to compete for dominance over the Roman Republic. When Brutus stood by Pompey's side, Caesar did not want Brutus to be harmed. After defeating both Pompey and Crassus, Caesar and Brutus became great friends. Because Brutus is Caesar's friend, Caesar would not suspect a plot for his assassination led by the conspiring senators who were convinced that killing Caesar was for the good of Rome. Another person who used Law 14 to his advantage was the French diplomat Talleyrand.
Et le regard afin de déguiser ce qu'il dit. Ne vous fiez à rien, et surtout à personne.
Talleyrand was a French politician, diplomat, and theologian who lived from the year 1754 to 1838. He was born in Paris to an aristocratic family with a long tradition of military service. Because of a limp he had, his family decided that he could not have a life in military service, and instead he devoted himself to life in the church. During the French Revolution, he represented the French clergy, which led to his excommunication and led him to a career in diplomacy and politics. Soon after the formation of the consulate government, he became Napoleon's chief diplomat and worked on documents such as the Treaty of Luneville in 1801 and the Treaty of Amiens in 1802. His name has become a byword for crafty and devious because of his uncanny ability as a conversationalist. This is because he actually said very little. He never talked about his own ideas, but he got others to reveal theirs. One way he did this was by sharing what seemed to be a secret, then watched his listeners' reaction. Another was to spread rumors and fears, and then to take advantage of people when they react. For example, Talleyrand spread a rumor in 1797 that the King of England was dead to gain diplomatic power. And when talking about diplomatic power, it is almost impossible to ignore Cleopatra.
She was, first of all, a woman. She was, secondly, a woman with power. All of this made her extremely dangerous, threatening, and certainly something to be hated.
Cleopatra VII, known as Cleopatra, was the last of a series of rulers called the Ptolemies, who ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. She lived from 70 to 30 BCE. She was the last true pharaoh of Egypt. Cleopatra was known as a great ruler, but she was also very captivating. Her appearance, along with her persuasiveness in discussion, would bide her time until it was the right moment to strike her opponents. One example of this is when there was a dispute between her and her brother Ptolemy XII. Ptolemy borrowed Cleopatra from seeing Caesar, whom he had tried to convince that he was the sole ruler of Egypt. But after Cleopatra had convinced him that she wasn't going to speak to Caesar, she snuck out and convinced Caesar to help rise up against her brother. This is only one example of Cleopatra executing Law 14. Other examples include having another one of her brothers assassinated as well as her own sister. This last group that exemplifies Law 14 is MI5. The MI5 stands for Military Intelligence Section 5 and is the United Kingdom's domestic counterintelligence and security agency and is part of the intelligence agencies. Thomas Arkell Robinson, known as Tommy or Tar, was a Scottish MI5 intelligence officer responsible during the Second World War for the double-cross system disinformation campaign against the German intelligence services, in which every German agent in Britain, without having been detected by the authorities, was actually working for British intelligence. Wolf Dietrich Christian Schmidt, later known as Harry Williamson, was a Danish citizen who during World War II became a double agent working for Britain, as he was part of the double-cross system, under which all German agents in Britain were controlled by the MI5, British counterintelligence, and used to deceive Germany. Schmidt broke down under interrogation and became a double agent, making contact with Germany by radio in October 1940. He was one of the longest-running agents in the double-cross system. His last contact with Germany was on May 2, 1945. He operated his radio himself until he became ill and had to be imitated by a British operator. Though he recovered, he was not allowed to operate thereafter. He did continue to assist in composing the messages sent to Germany. His actions relate to the law because he was a double agent and part of the double-cross system which was used to deceive Germany. Edward Arnold, or Eddie Chapman, was an English criminal and wartime spy. During the Second World War, he offered his services to Nazi Germany as a spy and traitor, and subsequently became a British double agent. His British Secret Service handlers codenamed him Zigzag, in acknowledgement of his rather erratic personal history. His actions relate to the law because he gained the title of double agent and started as a member of the MI5 and then offered himself as a spy to Nazi Germany as a spy and traitor.